Today we're going to talk about kind of reconnecting with your database and converting those warm leads before the summer gets crazy for everybody. Um, I think right now, specifically what we're on May 5th, the first week in May, kind of going into the second week of May, is really an opportune time for you to re-engage with your leads because, as you know, summer, while it's a busy season for a lot of people in the real estate market, it's also busy for your consumers. June, July, August, people are busy, they're distracted, they've got vacations and kids sporting events and things going on. And they can be hard to reach and kind of, peg down so that you can get them focused on, buying or selling real estate. And so May is really the runway that I want you guys to think about in energizing your business as we jump into summer. And it's not only right to close deals in June, July, and August, but it's to close deals in the third quarter, which is July, August, and September. It's really that hot spot. Get them engaged now, get them searching, get them under contract so that they can close by the end of summer and the start of school. And I want to hit you guys with this hard truth. We've talked about this often, right? You don't have a lead problem. You guys all have a ton of leads in your database, whether your database is Bold Trail, a spreadsheet, your cell phone, or the people that you see in a coffee shop in any given day. The problem that most agents have is a follow-up problem. So today we're going to talk about a system to put into place that's really easy to follow up on those leads, whether you have 5 leads or 500 leads. And so we're going to talk a lot about what consists or what constitutes a warm lead. These are people that you've maybe showed houses to, but they didn't write an offer, right, in the last 90 or so days. Could be people that said, yeah, maybe I'm going to buy or sell this year without really fully committing. They've asked you about the equity they have or the value of their property, but never really took the next step to actually put it on the market. Maybe they've gone quiet, but that doesn't mean they're gone. They could have ghosted you, right? But they're still in your orbit or in your network, and they're just needing a reason to re-engage. Or maybe they're people that are engaging with you digitally. They're messaging you on social media. You can tell that they're opening or reading your emails, liking your posts. They're watching what you're doing. These are people that maybe they haven't blatantly said, yes, I want to buy or sell a house, but you can look at the actions they're taking that tell you there may be a warm lead. These are people that already know you, that you've already interacted with in some capacity. So the hard part here is done, right? There's no awkward first introduction, pitching your services or yourself to them. That's why these leads are warm. And so this is the framework that I want you to use as you're reconnecting with your database. We're going to sort all of your leads. Again, whether it's 5 leads or 500, you can use the same framework. But put them into 3 buckets. The first bucket is hot, right? These are people that you know are ready to move in the next 60 to 90 days, and they're just looking for that compelling reason to act now. Why should I put my house on the market this week, or why should I go find a house to buy, this weekend? These are your priority dials, the people that you need to be contacting first. The second bucket is warm leads, people that you should contact within the month. You know that they're interested in buying or selling, but they haven't given you explicitly a clear timeline on when they want that to happen. These people, right, they need fresh market data. They need to have a real conversation. You've got to bring these people back up to speed to get them to prioritize making a move. And the third bucket is, warm leads, but they're on the colder end of the spectrum. Try to contact them before, the end of the month or early June. These are people you haven't engaged with in the last 3 to 6 months. And what these people are looking for is a value first touch point. So, hey, I'm just reaching out with an updated value of your property or a market report or whatever. It's, you're not asking them, are you ready to buy or sell? It's a low pressure conversation that is led with information. And so what I want you guys to do today is grab a list of contacts from your database and sort them into these 3 buckets. And then I know what you're thinking in your head. Okay, cool. I've got all the people in my buckets. What am I supposed to say to them? Right? You've got to stop overthinking these conversations because if you have them naturally, the conversations will flow. The first opener will work on anybody in your database. It's just a quick market update, right? Hey, Steve, Wisconsin values are up over 8% from last year, so I've been running quick equity snapshots for people in my database. Want me to pull one for you? No strings, just a number I think that's worth knowing. Right? Again, it's updating people on what's happening in the market and how it's impacting their real estate needs. The second opener, check in for people that have ghosted you or you haven't talked to in the last 30 to 90 days, right? Hey, Steve, I know it's been a while. The market's shifted a bit since we've last talked, and I think the timing for your move might look different for you now. Can we jump on a quick 5-minute call so I can bring you up to speed? Again, you're leading with value there. You're educating them and you're showing them that you're the market expert. And then, right, if you need a timely thing, talk to them about the Remax and Real deal that we went over, not Remax and Real, Remax and Zillow, sorry. Zillow preview that launched last week, right? Have you seen the news about Remax and Zillow? I wanted to make sure you're in the loop and how it's, working in our local market and how it's going to affect buyers and sellers. Right? These are timely things that show that you're understanding what's happening in the industry and how it can benefit your sellers and buyers. And so every time you pick up the phone, right, follow this process. Reestablish the relationship first. Hey, Steve, it's Reagan. We talked about a month ago about, you and your family looking to buy a new house. How are things going? Right? You're reestablishing that you had a previous relationship and you still have a current relationship. And then you're going to bridge to the market, right? A few things have changed since we last spoke or since I last showed you properties. I want to make sure you had the latest picture before summer hits. And then you deliver the data, right? Here's what's happening in the actual market. Prices are up, inventory is flat, homes are selling at a high percentage of list price. It's still a strong seller's market, and here's how that impacts you as a buyer. And then ask the question, right? Ask the question of what information you're searching for. Hey, given all of that, what does that look like for you and your family? Has anything changed on your end in terms of timeline? Again, when you lead with value, people will open up and give you what you want back. And so they might say something like, oh, wow, that's really interesting. We were actually just talking about it. And I think it would be beneficial for us to find something soon before competition increases. And you say, great, right? And then you close with the next step. Always end with what we're going to do next to continue that relationship and keep the door open, right? Yeah, I couldn't agree more. What do you think would be most helpful? Would it be worth getting together for a quick 20 minutes so I can show you the active listings in your price point? Or is it more helpful if we schedule some showings for this weekend so you can, get into some houses and see what's out there? Right? Set the appointment or set the next step at the end of all of this. So reestablish the relationship, bridge to the market, deliver it with data, and then ask them the question and close with a step. And I think one of the highest converting plays right now is the equity play, right? Go back into your database and find people that bought houses in 2019 to 2022, because we know that homes in Wisconsin have appreciated over 8% year over year. That is historically high compared to what the market does year over year, in the last 50 years. And so this is a no pressure entry point to a conversation, right? It's advantageous whether they want to sell or not for homeowners to understand how much equity they're sitting on. That could be used for anything they want to, or they might be in a different financial position to make a move up or a move down that they weren't currently aware of. And so again, right, it opens the door for a conversation. You're being helpful, and it positions you as an expert who knows what's actually happening in real estate. And it creates a reason for them to call back if they don't answer your call. It's value. There's no pitch there. You're providing them a service that is helpful to them, whether or not they want to sell or not, but it opens the door to continue the conversation. And if they don't want to sell, right, say something like, I totally get that. It's awesome. Do you know anybody else in your neighborhood or your friends and family that you think this information could be helpful for? At which point they might go, yeah, I was just talking to my friend at work and he and his wife are thinking about selling. It'd be really helpful for him to know how much equity they're sitting on as well. Here's his information, right? So you can generate referrals through this process as well. And then, right, inevitably you're going to get some objections. And again, most agents, when they hear an objection, they go, okay, sounds good, talk to you later. And they hang up, right? Because they don't know how to handle objections. And objections aren't a solid no. They're just I don't have enough information to make the next step quite yet. So, right, you might hear people say, hey, we're not ready yet. That's great. I totally understand that. My job right now is to make sure you have the right information. So when you are ready, you're not starting from scratch. Can I keep you in the loop with monthly or weekly updates? Right? Staying in front of and staying top of mind with the people that you're trying to serve. Buyers might say, hey, I'm waiting for rates to drop. We hear that one often, right? But what we know as expert agents is that when rates drop, demand spikes and inventory tightens. So yeah, you might pay a little bit less per month, but you're going to have to potentially pay more for the house. Is it worth it to see those numbers side by side so you can make a fully informed decision? Right? Every buyer to that question should say, yeah, I should be able to make an informed decision. Can you show me what I can afford right now with these rates compared to if I have to pay higher for a house at a lower rate? And you guys know how to run those calculations. Sellers might say, hey, we tried selling and it didn't work. This works really well on expired listings if you're calling on those. Right? Hey, I'd love to know more about what happened. The market has shifted meaningfully since then. And I think the strategy I'd use with you and on your property looks totally different. Are you open to a quick conversation about what I'm seeing in the market and how I think it impacts your ability to sell your property? Right? So every objection is just another opportunity for you to provide more value. And all of this, you guys, can be done in 30 minutes every morning, right? If you open email, scroll social media, do whatever you do in the morning, block off 30 minutes on your calendar and do this, right? The first 5 minutes, hey, pull open your CRM, identify 5 contacts that you're going to reach out to. 2 hot leads, 2 warm leads, and 1 cold lead. The next 15 minutes, make contact with those 5 people. Text or call them, use the openers we talked about, use timely information or information from the past conversations you've had, and make those calls. Don't overthink this, right? There's a reason this should only take you 15 minutes because you just need to make the call, leave a voicemail, send a text, and move on. And then make sure you're logging this in your CRM. Make notes about who answered, who had conversations with you, who you left a voicemail, what they said, what their preferred next step is. If you're not tracking this, right, it's hard to keep following up. And the last 5 minutes, schedule those follow-ups, right? If they responded, yeah, let's go look at property, or can you send me this? Make sure you're doing those follow-up tasks. And if you make 5 contacts a day, that's 25 a week and 100 a month, right? That is a pipeline. That's a pipeline of leads of people that you can help buy or sell real estate. And so, it's not a Tuesday training without me giving you guys some homework. So this is what I want you to do before noon today. Go in your database and segment it, right? Identify those 10 warm leads and put them into one of the 3 buckets, hot, warm, or cold. And then send 3 text messages to those people, or to 3 of those 10 people before noon, right? Just send them, send it out, and wait for a response. And then block that 30 minutes on your calendar. Label it database dial-up, right? Protected at all costs. It's like an appointment that you have to do and show up to every single day, because making those calls or contacts in 30 minutes in the morning, that's how deals are generated, right? And the agents who convert leads in their pipeline don't have better leads. They're the ones that are actually showing up. And so again, this stuff doesn't take hours every single day to do. Start with a small, segment of your leads. It can be 10, it can be 20, whatever that looks like for you. And stay in constant contact with them until you either help them buy or sell real estate or they tell you to die trying, right? And either one of those outcomes is at least a result that you have clarity on. And so you don't need more leads. You need to follow up with the leads that you already have. And again, leads aren't, people that you got in contact with on Zillow or people that you sold a house to. It could be anybody in your sphere, because statistically, right, every single person knows 5 to 8 people that are going to move this year. And so if you're the one in constant contact and reaching out and providing value, you're going to be the one that they choose to buy or sell real estate with, or that they choose to refer their friends and family to. And that's all I've got for you guys today. But I really encourage you to do this 30 minutes every morning, contact 5 people. It's really not that difficult. Any questions?
A couple, Reagan. Are
Yep.
these presentations anywhere that we can access and go back to?
Yes, we have a whole folder in the resource drive.
Okay.
I'll post it in the Facebook page right as when we get off this call.
Okay.
And then all of the recordings are on a playlist on our Remax Preferred YouTube channel. And I can post a link to that as well.